extremely happy to have a few questions exchanged with Captain Aarohi Pandit. She holds a world record. You might have seen her on the news or on TEDx Mumbai. Let's get to it. Yeah. Hi Aarohi, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. See, both of us are locked down in our houses, and that's that.
I know it's super boring, but I'm enjoying this time. I have a lot of time with myself. I'm reading and going for drives. So
Fair enough. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Okay. I guess with what we do today, we might find some really interesting answers, and we'll just see how it goes.
yeah.
All right. So let's just dive in. What inspired you to do what you ended up doing, which is setting a world record of being the first solo woman to fly across the Pacific and the Atlantic? What
Yes.
inspired you to do that?
So it's not something I thought of. So there was this particular organization called maybe Foundation, and they were looking for young girls to take on this challenge. And to be very honest, before I got for the circumnavigation, I had no idea what circumnavigation was, because I was like any other kid, from India who wanted to become a pilot and just fly airplane. That's been my dream since I'm 8-year-old. So when I got this opportunity, I just got a random call from Capt. So she was my co-pilot from India to Scotland, and she called me and she's like, you know what, bro, there's an organization who's looking for girls to take on a circumnavigation on a light sport aircraft. And my first question was, are you going? Are you going for it? So she was like, yeah. I was like, okay, I will come with you. So it was as simple as that. I did not give any thoughts. I did not know what exactly I'm getting myself into. All I wanted to do was fly with my friend, travel the world, and just bloody enjoy.
Okay.
That was my
Cool. So you said that the first person that reached out to you was somebody who was involved with that project?
Yes. So
Okay.
so the organization, they were going from flight school to flight school, and because she was working as a simulator instructor there, I think at Mosquito, so they got in contact with her first, and that's when she recommended a couple of female pilots from our flight school. And through that, of course, we are best friends for I don't know, I think we know each other for almost a decade now, and we've been friends for 7 years. So she recommended my name, and I said yes. And after that, all the interview process, all meeting up, the meetups, the plan, and everything started.
Okay. So where did you end up doing your training to become a pilot?
So for commercial, I'm trained from the Bombay Flying Club.
Okay.
And for the light sport aircraft, we were sent to Serbia, the pistol manufacturer.
Oh.
And that's where it's beautiful there. And that's where we trained for 40 days or so. We had 45 hours of flight training there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got back to India and we gave our test to get an LSA license.
Okay. Cool. So this all was, for your mission that was presented to you, the opportunity that was presented to you. But in the future, what do you see yourself doing with aviation and what you have right now? How do you see those two paths intersecting in the future?
So, to be very honest, the one thing, I won't say change, but one thing I would like to bring, especially in Indian aviation, that, it's really sad that kids, not kids, student pilots, they only think the opportunity is becoming a commercial pilot. And I think we don't really have a lot of jobs in India other than being a commercial pilot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one thing I want to change, because no offense, but flying a commercial only flying a commercial doesn't make you a pilot. There's so many other jobs to do. And that's what I would like to discover. But unfortunately, even for me at this stage, I don't have any other job other than working for commercial pilot. So I think if we could change that scenario, get more jobs just ferry pilot, or anything, or bush pilot, could you imagine how cool it would be flying a bush airplane?
Yeah.
So that's one thing I would love to change.
That's the harsh reality of aviation in India, that general aviation is so underdeveloped that there is nothing. It's just barren land. And that would be a beautiful...
Sad, because every other kid, they are I want to become a pilot, I want to fly for this airline. But no, airlines are not the only thing you have to do to become a pilot. There's so many other things.
No offense to my career either, but airline flying is not true aviation.
I agree. I agree.
Okay. So, tell me something. There, as you said, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of kids who still want to become pilots and enter the commercial field.
Yes.
In the current situation and keeping the future in mind, what do you think is going to be the future for people who want to become pilots? Like, what would you recommend to them? Is it still a good idea?
I feel it is because when I started training back in 2014, I came across pilots who were jobless for like a decade. But that did not stop me from doing what I love to do. So I feel industry will grow up and there will be jobs. Like I said, commercial pilot is not the only job. You can go abroad, try your hands and convert your license, and you can work anywhere. Like you could be a ramp agent. I would love to be a ramp agent. That's like one of my dream jobs. How cool it is to like marshal an airplane.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like kids should go ahead and do it anyway. It might, it's anyway going to take like 2 years to complete your flight training, and hopefully till then the industry will boom. But nothing should stop you. If you really, really love to do it, just go for it.
Okay. That brings me to something, that casually just flowed into my mind. Like, during your training, was there something that came across you, that something you felt that you belonged there, and this was something that was kind of meant for you? Was there a moment like that?
I think when my instructor told me, when my instructor complimented me, like, you're really good at it. If you practice, you'll be a really good pilot. I think that's where I realized that, okay, I'm in the right field. But to be very honest, like, every flight is different.
Yeah.
Every flight, I make a lot of mistakes. Every flight is, I learn something new. So, yeah, I mean, that point came very early, especially when, someone who teaches you, gives you compliments or something. But yeah, I mean, even today, sometimes I doubt, like, okay, am I doing something right? Or, should I change my career? But then again, flying is so cool. Why would you give it up?
Absolutely, yeah, no question about that. So during your expedition, across, thousands of miles, was there a moment where you, which scared you or which inspired you?
Like a scary thing you're talking about?
It could be a scary thing, could not be a scary thing. Something that was scary or that was inspirational. Something that was special or that was scary, an extreme of the situation. Either ways.
They say when something doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger, So I had that moment in this expedition when I was crossing the Atlantic Ocean. I had faced the worst weather ever you could imagine. Like, I was flying at 500 feet. I was flying in clouds, and the temperature was -4. There was risk of icing. It was raining. The visibility was low. I'm flying in LSA, and it's complete a VFR plane, but the conditions were definitely not VFR, and it was just a mess. Like, to make it short, it was a mess, and I was stuck in that weather for good 45 minutes. And I don't think before that flight I ever prayed to God, but that flight I was like, God, please make me reach the other island, because I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean with the worst ever weather possible. So I think that flight changed my life, and I was like, if I can go through this, I can do anything in this world. And that's what happened. After that, every flight was difficult, but not as difficult as that was. So for me, the comparison was a bit high. The standard was a bit high. So any difficult fight, I was like, you know what, you were going to die that night. So you'll just be fine. You'll get through this.
Absolutely. It gives you the ability to, navigate through any situation.
I know, and that's just instant, I don't even know what I did. It was just my hand and my brain working simultaneously and doing things. And now when I think about it, I'm like, how did I survive that flight? How is it even possible I could make through it? But yeah, I did, and I'm so thankful.
That's awesome, yeah. All right. So I think this comes into the realm of, do you think that whatever you learned during your training or during your experience with what you did, that applies in daily life, Like you said, when you encountered that situation over the Atlantic, you faced almost uncertainty of the future.
Yes.
But that helped you understand, that you can get through anything. Was there anything else that you learned during all these times that applies to your life? in general that allows you to go through it?
I think the one thing that taught me, this expedition taught me, was to be independent. Before I took on this journey, I was a very pampered child. Like, I was this 21-year-old who was pampered by her mom, her dad, her uncle, her sister, everyone around the world. And getting into such adventure journey and not having anyone with you, I just had this little plane and myself, dealing with all the visas, with traveling, with the flight planning, fuel. I think for the first week I was lost. I had no idea because I had no one to for help. Like, of course there was my team around the world, but in the end, when you're in a flight, it's just you and your little plane. And when I talk about these situations where you get into bad weather, even though you have like an village working behind you, but they all are on the ground, nobody's up in the air helping you. So I think being independent and having faith in yourself is what I learned. And I think those are the most important things, and it has helped me to grow not just as an aviator, but as a human being.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds good. That's about it I have. Is there any message that you want to give to like young people who are at the age of 18 to 21, who are just about to enter into the field, who know this is what they're going to do, but is there anything you want to tell these people who have no experience stepping into this field?
So, like, one thing I tell everyone is to have patience, because being patient is what has given me what I have today. So before I got the opportunity of the expedition, I was really sad because it had been like 7 months since I got my license, and everybody were getting jobs, and due to some reason my license was delayed. I waited for 4.5 months just for my license to get back, to get the hard copy, and then I was stuck with my medicals. I had some or the other problem with my medicals. So the one thing I did during those times was be patient, just wait. And same thing happened during the flight training. After crossing my 100-hour, I don't know what happened, but my flying was really bad, like really, really bad. I couldn't concentrate. I was not getting released for solos or for solo cross countries. But all I did was be patient and just kept working on myself. So that's what I would tell everyone: just be patient and just keep working on yourself. And I would like to add one more thing. A lot of, especially the kids who are starting new in aviation, they ask me what motivates you every day. Mm-hmm. To be very honest, I am not motivated 24/7. The time that I was stuck in bad weather flights or in bad life situations, motivation is the last thing on my mind. The only thing was my willpower and my determination. So I think those two things play a very important role when you have to get through life.
Sounds good. That is. I mean, I can say that through my experience. That just makes a lot of sense, and I hope people who watch this get even a word or a sentence out of it, and it would still be significant.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Well, that's about it I have, and thank you for your time, Aarohi.
Thank you so much for having me.